Do you want to include unit studies as a part of your homeschool, but maybe you're not sure where to begin? Or maybe you already use unit studies, but you're interested in doing a unit study on the ancient Romans? If that's the case, then this is the video for you. Because in this video, I'm going to share our unit study that we're going to be doing this summer about the ancient Romans, and I'm going to talk about how I choose activities and books to include as a part of our unit studies as a former teacher. Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a homeschool mom of two. My kiddos are 6 and 4, and I'm also a teacher with over a decade of classroom experience. I love sharing tips to help families teach their kids how to read, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get started with unit studies. This video is actually a collaboration with Nikki over at Blessed Homeschool Mess. I'm going to put a link in the description to her channel. Make sure that you go and check it out. And I'm also going to put a link to the collaboration playlist where you can see all sorts of different unit studies that different homeschool moms will be doing this school year. So make sure that you check out the whole playlist for the collaboration, which is in the description of the video as well. So I want to start by sharing how we choose the topics for our unit study. And the thing that I'm always looking for is what my kids are really interested in. So right now, my kids are really interested in the ancient Romans. And I think this interest was sparked by a trip that my husband and I took. We actually had a chance to go to Italy for our anniversary this past year, and it was a really fun trip. We visited Rome, and we came back and told lots of stories and shared lots of pictures of our experiences there, and my kids were really fascinated by that. And we also have been reading about the ancient Romans in our history curriculum. We are using Story of the World right now in our homeschool, and this is volume 1 about the ancient times. We just finished it recently, and there were lots of stories and lessons about the ancient Romans. And so my kids were really curious to learn more about the ancient Romans, and so that's why I chose that topic for this unit study. I think my kids are having a sensitive period for ancient Romans. So sensitive period is a topic that I learned about when I worked in a Montessori classroom. And if you aren't familiar with Montessori, there are lots of materials available, and all the kids in the class get to choose what they want to work on at different points during the day. So what we're doing is we're giving kids the opportunity to explore things that they're really interested in. Because we know that when kids are learning about something that they're interested in, they will learn that topic better and they'll remember it more if they're learning about it at the time when they're interested. And so actually adults learn this way too. You might think about things that you aren't normally interested in, but maybe you are interested in now. For me, the topic that I'm interested in right now is cars because mine is about to die. And so we're going to need to get a new car. And so I normally could care less about cars, but right now I'm doing lots of research about which cars are the best, which ones are the most reliable, what kind of features we're going to need, what kinds of things are available. And this is something that 6 months ago I wouldn't have cared about and wouldn't have remembered even if I had seen it. But now I'm very interested in that, and so I'm learning a lot about it. So I'm having a sensitive period right now for cars. And so I'm always looking for my kids about what kinds of topics they're really interested in because I know that they're going to learn better about those topics too. And right now for us, it's the ancient Romans. So another thing that I try to do when I am planning a unit study for my kids is to provide resources on a variety of different levels. This is especially important if you're homeschooling multiple kids and you're going to have them all do the unit study together. So I chose 2 books that we're going to use as sort of our main books of the unit study that are different levels. And our younger level book is going to be this one. It is Usborne Look Inside a Roman Town. And I love this book because it has a lot of information in it, but the information is spread out around the page and there are a lot of flaps that kids can open. So this is going to keep my daughter, who's younger, engaged while we read the book because she's going to be busy opening all the flaps. So in this book, there are different pages that talk about different topics. This particular one is about how the city is laid out in some of the buildings, and there is information inside the flaps. So this says, the Flavius family lives here, and then when you open the flap it says, Only rich Romans live in houses as big as this one. So we're going to be able to, as we're opening the flaps and as she's exploring and discovering different things on the page, we're going to be able to talk about the Roman town. And I love the way this page is laid out because my daughter does not have to have the attention span to sit and listen to me read a huge block of text in order to get a lot out of this book. So I know we're going to spend a lot of time exploring and discovering the different flaps. And I love that each page has a different theme too. This particular page is all about the Roman Forum, which will be really interesting because we got to visit there when we were on our trip. This page is all about bath time, which is a topic that my daughter can relate to because she takes baths, and something that will be fun to explore how it was different for the ancient Romans. My son is a little bit older, so he's going to be using this book, which is Usborne's Starting Point History, Who Were the Romans? And this one's fun because it also has internet links, so we'll be able to research a little bit further about some of the topics that we're studying. In this book, it has all different pages about different topics again. So this one is about what were the houses like. And I love that it includes activity ideas on a lot of the pages too. So it talks about the mosaics in the houses. And then in this little box here, it has directions for how to make our own mosaic. So we'll definitely be trying some of these activities as a supplement to our unit study. And I'm excited to try some of those hands-on things with him. And that brings me to the third thing that I always like to do whenever we have a unit study, which is have some hands-on activities and some fun things for my kids to do. So I wanted to quickly share two of the things that we'll be doing in this unit study. One is this coloring book. It's called Greek and Roman Fashions, and this is a Dover coloring book from the Dover Coloring Book series. And if you aren't familiar with these, I love them for homeschool because the pictures are always very in-depth, very interesting, and there are also facts on each page so the kids can learn a little bit more about what they're coloring. So this one actually has Greeks and Romans in it. So we're going to be looking for the Roman pages specifically to use. This picture right here, for example, is a Roman soldier and his attendant. And so we'll be coloring the picture and then we'll be reading the information down below to learn a little bit more about Roman soldiers. And then the final thing that we'll be doing as a part of this unit study is this puzzle. And this is a puzzle that we actually found when we were in Italy and brought back home for our kids. And so the whole puzzle is in Italian, which is really interesting. The directions are in Italian as well. So we have been trying to translate a little bit for our kids, but none of us are fluent Italian speakers, so it is interesting to see the language though. So this is a puzzle map. So as my kids are building it, they will be able to see sort of the layout of the city and the locations of some of the major attractions and monuments. And as they are building it, they will also notice that the monuments themselves are stand-up pieces. So there are little slots in the puzzle, and then you can slide the monuments into the slots and make them stand up once the puzzle is completed. So my kids have worked this a few times already, and they have really enjoyed just seeing the different monuments and the different parts of the city and understanding where everything is located. And I always try to include a map whenever we are doing a unit study that is focused on a place because it helps my kids to really see and understand where they're studying. And so I think this puzzle is going to do that as well. So this is just a really fun activity that my kids are really enjoying. So hopefully this video was helpful and gave you some thoughts to consider as you are planning your next unit study. Make sure that you check out the playlist of all the videos in the unit study collaboration that's linked in the description of this video, and make sure that you hit like and subscribe on this video so that you'll get notified whenever a new video on my channel is released.